Howdy folks, Tom Bubbly here. I wanted to explain to people how you can use the Noble Ape Simulation with ApeScript. I've been doing a bit of work with ApeScript recently and just wanted to show folks how they can use the simulation with ApeScript. So the ApeScript examples are actually in the Noble Ape source code. I probably should create a downloadable for that as well. But in the meantime, you can run the Noble Ape simulation, and this is the new threaded model of the Noble Ape simulation, so things run a little bit faster than you may have seen previously. You can do the usual stuff like select apes, what have you. And let's start by opening a script. Now this is a bit of a journey, people, so listen, Noble Ape master, sim, documentation, example. Let's have a look at the brain flash to start off with. Unpause the simulation, and it shows you some output. Where should we put this? Let's put this in the download directory. So let's run some more ApeScript just to get a different view again. You get pretty used to this. Sim, documentation, examples. Let's try this. Pause. And it's got to wait till dawn. This might be a famous Noble Ape recorded bug. Every time I record a video, there's always a bug. Let's try that again. I think I've got to clear the ApeScript debug. Okay, so let's take random flash of brain. Let's unpause. And now this time, hopefully, when it reaches dawn and the ApeScript starts to kick in, we will have a debug file. And I will be fixing that bug in the near future. Okay. Let's call it 2.txt. And that's just adding random noise in. Let's again avoid the bug. Open it and let's have a look at another one of these scripts. Is visible. Pause. I should really test all of these before I release each new version of the simulation. I normally just test the first one, so I'm not sure what is visible will do. It may, huh? That seemed to work. And what should we try last? ApeScript. Just operate it. That looks interesting. Just waiting for one of these to actually crash the simulation. Right. All seem to work fine. Okay, so then let's see what we get through this. We can quit the simulation for now. Actually, no, while I have it open, why don't I just try something here? So, many folks don't know that you can actually run the Noble Ape simulation as downloaded straight off the internet from the command line. I have done this demo a little bit before, but I just wanted to do it again here to show people how to do that. content, rather, maybe. Oh, that might help. CD. Helps to actually read the errors that you're getting. And then the letter C. The letter C indicates it'll start from the console. And you can, through this, run the Noble Ape simulation through both the graphics and the console. You've got all the usual stuff. You can get the help up. You can list all the Noble Apes. You can watch a particular Noble Ape. All that good stuff that you get from the console. You see the episodic stuff that's going on with the ape. All the usual fun stuff that you can get from the simulation through the console as well. So, also exits. Let's have a look at these in contrast, and of course I've neatly forgotten which ones we checked against. Let's have a look here. Examples. I think we did that one, that one, and that one from memory. And these correspond to these four. So, let's take the first example. So this is the debug output, which actually shows as it was executed against Brain Flash. So here's the Brain Flash code. It takes loop value, which is, what is it? So it'll do it in 4 increments. So 0, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, so on. And it will set a flashing value based on the time. And the time is independent. The time is a variable that you get. So if you haven't seen this already, you can run the simulation. Let's just pause it. You can actually get the simulation documentation up, and you can read about ApeScript here. So man, ApeScript, intro.html. You can do that all through running the simulation, though it brings it up. So scripting the simulation tells you that time gives you 24-hour time in minutes. So, and you can also see down here, brain X, Y, Z, accordingly, set to the loop values, and the brain value you can set explicitly. You can also get it as well. So this is the first one that we ran, and this is the output from it, which just shows, this is the debug, which just shows it being run, basically, and the values going through. So you can use this to debug your ApeScript, well, not in real time, but after it's been run from one cycle. And it's for the selected ape specifically that it runs. Hungry here, actually both energy and hungry are both, so energy takes this. It's not based on the selected being, it's based on the ape that's selected. And hungry is a constant. And it shows, so this is the energy. And you can see within here, probably energy, 2-byte value. So yeah, perhaps a better description would be to actually explain it in the documentation. We can do that later version. So that's ApeScript. You get to control the individual variables within the simulation for a specific ape, and you run it accordingly. So that was that run. Let's have a look at the next one. This was the random brain interface, which is relatively simple. This just basically means because hunger is depleted as the ape continues to live. So this maintains the energy as constant. And this takes a random value. And then every time... This is interesting. Oh, so this is just going through the random value number and setting it. So this creates a random value that takes the first bit and then divides by 32, the next bit divides by 32, the next bit, and takes it out. So that's what you see back here. And as you write ApeScript, you can use the debugger to get a sense of what's really going on. ApeScript's a very simple language, very easy to learn ApeScript. I think isVisible was the next one, which corresponds to this one. So it keeps going through the selected being and then checks to see if it's visible or not. So eventually this goes through all the apes. So, well, this is just for the, so there's possibility that none of these are, none of these are actually visible at any given time by the ape that was selected initially. But this is going through, again, you can see the definition of is visible. So it just goes through, basically. So that's that one. Last but not least, test operator. So this goes through and does a series of checks. So this goes through a list of biological operators. Let's see what this is. Input output. And oh, it takes a, okay, so what it does is it takes a series of point values and it checks the biology operator at each of them. So, not particularly interesting. Or at least as it came through, it wasn't particularly interesting. But actually, what's it doing? It's showing, yes, there's no biology operators within the ranges. What it's scanning for, unfortunately. So yes. This example probably would be tuned a little bit better. Anyway, to learn more about ApeScript, when I say it's a very simple language to learn, this is basically the document on how you learn it. It explains the elements, comments, variables, operators, numbers. You can use if and while statements You can create functions which are literally addresses in memory, and you can see more about that. There's very simple error reporting. There's an explanation of the error reporting. There's a mailing list. This literally is the definition of the language. So, very simple. This is the interface associated with the simulation. These are the errors which the simulation can report and can be reported through your ApeScript. Some of them are parsing errors, some of them are interpretation errors, but you know, it's probably not too important to consider those distinctions. And then there's a document I wrote when I first came out with ApeScript back in 2005. Wow. 9 years ago. Wow. 8.5. That shows a wide variety of things about ApeScript. Really, you learn the language and then you might go through the notes just to get a sense of what's going on. And there's some advanced ApeScript associated with how you write switching cases, you know, some of the numeric stuff, how you can play with the brain memory, these kind of things. You know, interesting stuff if that interests you. And this discusses the debugging, obviously. This shows some interesting cases where errors can be put into the code. Here we are. So this is an example of an error being reported through debugging. But this is actually a syntactical thing. Well, actually, it's not a syntactical thing. It's based on the fact that you've tried to randomly access a random part of the code. Discussion associated with variables and scripts and the distinction between parser and interpreter. So again, relatively small document, but explains everything you need to know with ApeScript in terms of the actual use. So folks, if ApeScript seems interesting to you, if you're interested in accessing, I should probably have talked about this a bit. So you can access the biology, the weather, the location, parasite information, goal information, drive information, whether the noble apes are speaking or not, whether it can see another noble ape, obviously all the biology, as I discussed a little earlier. So this really provides a kind of rich context into the simulation and enables you to create your own artificial intelligence models, if that's what you want to do. Enables you to modify various interactions associated with brain simulation. But the interesting thing about ApeScript is it's also a standalone language, and around the time actually that I wrote ApeScript, I was also working on another program called Noble Warfare. And my plan actually is to release Noble Warfare again. I've done some rewrite of the Noble Ape Simulation to allow for an easy porting of Noble Warfare, which means that from Noble Warfare, you can actually script how the various, I don't know what you'd call them, like different kinds of military units operate. And you can actually write the AI specifically for the different military units through ApeScript. So my hope is that Noble Warfare will be coming out, this is February, maybe May kind of time frame, but I'll be doing early work on it through the simulation through the next few weeks, and I'll probably record more video associated with that for folks who are interested. Anyway, this is Tom Barbalet in the Bay Area, signing out.